Hello friends, this is pop art inspired by artist Andy Warhol with Westre-Stith. To start, what is pop art? Well, pop art simply means popular art. It was a type of art that developed in the 1950s and 60s in Britain and America, drawing inspiration from popular commercial culture like Coca-Cola, Brillo pads, and even celebrities themselves. Pop art was unique because it was designed for the masses, for normal people, common household brands, and mass production. We're going to focus on a very famous artist named Andy Warhol. His work was bold, colorful, fun, explorative, and most importantly, inspired by the popular culture around him. Let's check out some of his famous works. Marilyn Monroe, 1967, Flowers, 1964, and you guys have probably all seen this one somewhere, Campbell's Tomato Soup, in 1962. Now, it's our turn. Let's make some pop art. Today, you need to find some common household objects. I picked out a couple varieties, specifically Heinz, Sharpie, some clips, and I'm going to go with Heinz and the clothespin. First, I'm going to divide my paper into thirds. That's 3 equal parts. I used a ruler to do this at first, but whatever way works for you is great. Then, I'm just going to start by drawing my object using very simple outlines and shapes. I'm going to do this 3 times. So I repeat, you want to have 3 drawings of your object. Try to get it as close as you can to be the same for each one, but of course each one's going to be slightly different. Then you really want to think about color. Pop art is all about color and being fun. You want to have 3 different color groups and outline your objects in these 3 color groups. I went with first pink, second greens, and the very last one was blues for my clothespins. Before I get my next material out, I like to clean up first, and I will be coloring my objects today with watercolor paint. You could use markers, you could use crayons, you could use colored pencils, anything that you have. But no matter what you're using, you really want to think about color variety. How can you show that this object is not flat, that this is a 3-dimensional object that exists in your home? Here we go, I have my first layer of color down. Now I need to select colors for the background. I chose to use colors that existed in the other ones. So for the pink, I used yellow, which was in the green. For the green, I used pink, which was of course in the pink. And for the blue, I used green, which was in the green. Next up is Heinz Yellow Mustard. I had so much fun doing this one and it turned out to be my favorite. Instead of using a ruler, I just folded my paper into thirds and set off into drawing the object. Again, not just once, but 3 times. For this project, you want to draw your object 3 times. Pop art is about production, mass production. It is about consumerism. It is about culture. And when you walk into a grocery aisle shelf, there's not just one mustard bottle on the counter or on the shelf. There is a whole entire space full. So I have my 3 Heinz Yellow Mustard bottles drawn on my paper, and now it is time to outline. I'm using Sharpies, but again, you can use whatever materials you have available to you. They will all work the same. I'm keeping my object present in front of me. That way I can constantly look at it and reference it. Drawing from observation like I did with the flowers in one of my other videos. Now, the one thing that is going to be the same, well, 2 things really in all of mine, the red tag that says number 1 and the Heinz Yellow Mustard label is going to be in black in all 3 of my mustard bottles, even though the bottles themselves are different colors. This time I'm going with the classic yellow. Then I'm going with neutral grays and blacks. And lastly, I'm going with warm pinks and purples. It's always better to clean up before I get my next stuff out. And I'm going to go ahead and use watercolor paint again with this just because I already had it out. But please remember to use whatever you have available to you. I'm adding a lot of different colors to my watercolor paints. So for some of them, I'm using darker colors, lighter colors. I'm adding tints and shades of other colors until I get my bottles to a point where I like. Then, after I'm done with my watercolor, I'm going to let them dry and add touch-ups and details to both my clothespins and my mustard bottles. I am using my go-to favorite black pen that I've talked about in some of my other videos. I use this for pretty much a lot of my art, almost all of it. I use it for details and drawings and everything. It works great on top of almost any material unless it's like oil pastels or something. Then in this instance, I use colored pencil to go in and add color to the background. Again, I tied in my background colors to colors that existed in the bottles already. And then I went back and added in some very last details to make my Heinz Yellow Mustard bottles really pop. And the lighting is kind of hard to see, but they are much more colorful in real life. Here are the two finished products all together. The last thing that I did was I added lines dividing the three objects, and I am finished. Clothespins done. And mustard bottles done as well. Which ones are your favorite? I think I like the mustard. Alright guys, that is a wrap. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Please check out the comments below for resources, references, and more to explore. And as always, send your work to your art teacher and have fun.